Guys, welcome back to our channel. Now we are in this reading session. We are reading the book Life in Multiverse. We completed chapter 1, Life After Death. Now we are on the chapter 2, Journey in the Different Dimensions. We read through one dimension, Bhulok. Now we are reading further. Bhuvar. It is the first higher dimension above the earth and located between the earth and the sun. It is also known as Pitraloka or the land of ancestors. This astral plane is location where many celestial areas or planes of existence are present, out of which five main planes are well known. First one is Dhruvlok. Dhruv is a devotee. He was a devotee of Lord Vishnu. We'll go through it later. Second one is region of the seven sages, known as a Saptarishi. Third one is Nakshatraloka, the room of the heavenly planets. Chandraloka, the world of God, moon. Suryaloka, the world of sun god, the solar deities. Dhruvloka or pole star is the planet of the Dhruv, ardent devotee of Lord Vishnu. It constantly shines as the central pivot, or for all the stars and luminaries and planets revolve around the planetary system. Dhruv, devotee Dhruv, he was a kid when he do a really hard worship to Lord Vishnu, and he got boon from Lord Vishnu that he will shine ever after. And his birth on the earth was to help people and to become a good king. Now let's read the Saptarishi Lok. Is the abode of the seven holy sages, who are the mind-born sons of Lord Brahma. This room is situated below Dhruvloka at the distance of the two lakes Yojana, 200,000 Yojana, and circles the pole star. Many highly advanced spiritual souls resides in this dimension who render help to heavenly gods in various ways. In return of their services, the souls gets an opportunity to reside in Swargaloka, that is called heaven, and we all know about it. However, if the soul is enchanted by the attractions of the heavenly world, then as a consequences, the soul is sent down to the earth to take the birth as a human being. Even after death of the physical body, the soul performs the karma in three element, the subtle form, meaning the soul comes under the karmic cycle as long as it is susceptible to the influence of its mind. After the body dies, the lesser of the burden of karma, the lighter soul become. A sinful soul has more air element in its subtle body and is filled with the negative energy. Due to the prevalence of the air element, the subtle body of such soul gets heavier and thus cannot travel to higher dimensions. Hence, by doing meditation, the astral body of the soul absorbs supreme light from the higher dimensions and gets purified, as a result of which the content of the air element reduces and ether element enhances in the central body. The prevalence of the ether element increases the power of the soul, and thus soul can travel to the higher dimension with more speed. That's awesome. So, this knowledge shares that in your body, if the ether element increases, then you get a capacity to travel, do astral traveling basically. The soul experiences greater happiness and peace as it ascends to the upper layers. Those souls who are tamopradhan are very impure in nature. After their death, continue to live in the subtle form in their house or at their religious places such as temple, church, or masjid or mosque. Right? So it depends on the karma of the soul. When it dies, what is the judgment for that particular soul? Such impure souls lack power, end up as the ghost or pre-yoni, Life in lower astral planes in the subtle body, sometimes also referred as a phantom. These sinful souls never think about salvation, moksha, and their subtle body is heavy due to the prevalence of the air element. Thus, they cannot cross and go beyond the gravitational pull of the earth, which exerts up to 200-kilometer distance from the earth. The cravings of the pleasure, attachment to material things, attachment to body and bodily relatives, and due to the commitment of the sin for fulfilling the desires, the subtle body of such soul is very weak. If a soul has suffered deep wounds or psychological damage to its subtle body in the present life, subsequently this will result in a negative karma and gets carried forward to the next birth as a negative karmic account. A pure soul whose mind is peaceful and always had a God in his thoughts tends to go towards the higher dimensions after their death or leaving the physical body. So, this particular statement that if a soul keeps in the mind God, the thoughts about the God, then the soul have more power after the death. She will go to the higher dimensions. Why it is said so? Why we need to remember the God? If we think about from the wisdom point of view, so that's the scientific rule that whom you think about, whom you, because we are light beings, we are vibrational beings. As soon as we have a thought in our mind that the vibes, the vibrations are made out of this elements. We are made of the five element. The vibrations are made out of three elements, right? So those are the three elements are air, fire, and ether. So because we are in the world of the environment, the your surrounding environment is negative, means um, there is a major heavy air element, heavy fire element, right? So whatever we think, immediately our thoughts goes to that person, or it reacts. So if every action is having a reaction, what does that mean? As soon as the rays from your thought goes, it comes back. So if you remember the God, if you remember the God, so what will come back? The God's positivity will come back. The power of the God will come back. If you're thinking about Jesus, if you're thinking about anybody else, if you're thinking about gods, Lord Vishnu, Krishna, Ram, so whatever they are right now with their powers, you will receive that power. You will receive that wisdom. Like Krishna, if you remember Krishna, you will receive the wisdom. You will receive, like, download the power in that form of wisdom. So, there are many souls in the Bhuvar Lok who are sattvic or pure in nature and always stay in the remembrance of the Almighty God or their deities. Such good souls are guided by spirituality, advanced souls to go to the Himalayas and meditate for their spiritual advancement, since the pure atmosphere pervaded with the positive vibration. One second, let me move my page completely up with the positive vibrations and the higher altitude of the Himalayan mountains. Kailash Mansarovar, Badrinath, Kedarnath, etc. are ideally suited for the spiritual growth. Why? Because they are at the high position on the hills. The air element, that is a Vayu Tattva, in these spiritual places are very pure, light, and powerful. This helps astral souls to refine their subtle body. The air element of the soul gets charged, and eventually the fire element also gets charged. Therefore, performing meditation in the Himalayas compensates for the damage of the subtle body, and soul regain the power. Whereas on the rest of the earth, there is a lot of negativity is spread out all over the environment. So here the importance of meditation is also being shared, that if you are exhausted but you keep a practice of meditating, basically connecting yourself to and connecting to Almighty. So meditation is there are different ways of meditation. There's physical meditation we do, like it's called yoga also, but there's a meditation which helps you to mental peace, and basically it's a knowing yourself, self realization, and then God realization. In the Himalayas, there are many invisible spiritual rooms or ashrams in astral and non physical form. Many sattvic souls form the groups and meditate in their own cluster called golas or spheres. In a sphere, there may be a group of consisting of 5,000 souls, 10,000 souls, or even more. In this way, there are hundreds and thousands of souls engage in prayer and intense meditation for long periods, thereby charging the air and the fire element of their subtle body. So, we are talking about that there are the certain rooms on the Himalaya where the group of people, the souls, are doing meditation together and charging their subtle body, their air element and the fire element. The highly spiritual atmosphere contains pure air element, which is dominant part of the subtle body, and enclosed within the air element is the fire element, Agni Tattva. This subtle elements present in the rare field, rarefied, rarefied atmosphere are conductive for charging the subtle body of a soul. However, it must be noted that even though the subtle body can be charged here, the causal body cannot be charged by this process. The causal body, also known as Karan Sharir, comprises the mind, thoughts, and desires, and possesses the records of all the karmic actions done by thought, speech, and deeds. If the causal body is energized with the supreme light, that's Param Prakash, then all the karmic records of the soul get destroyed. When causal body is charged, then content of ether element in the body becomes predominant. Thus, soul can travel to the Vishnupuri, the causal room in the solar system. Right? When a soul remembers the Parabrahma Parameshwar, Lord Shiva in incorporeal form, when the intellect transcends the world of name and form and establishes the pure soul consciousness. In such a state of the soul receives the supreme divine light or Param Prakash, due to which the Param Akash Tattva or supreme ether element is charged. So when the soul remember the light form of the God, so in the Hindi scriptures, Indian scriptures, the we call it Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So that's Sadashiv. So we will in the Indian scripture it's mentioned that the Lord Shiva, the incorporeal form, the light form, a power form, a circle of light, powerful light, he manifested the whole solar system. So in such a such a state of the soul receives the supreme divine light and param prakash, and then causal body can only be charged if we remember the incorporeal form, that light form of the creator. This supreme light destroys the heaviness which was earlier present in the subtle body. Thus the soul becomes weightless, and the soul gradually moves to the higher dimensions. In the astral world, there are millions of times more souls than the number of human souls living in the earth. On the earth, in the lower astral world, ranging from 50 kilometer to 1000 kilometer above the earth's surface, there are large groups of negative souls with devilish traits. Sinful or the impure souls remains below 1000 kilometer layer, whereas pure and good souls can easily cross the beyond 1000 kilometer range. As the soul moves to the higher subtle dimensions, the thoughts arise in the mind also change accordingly. This is this is really, if you read that and understand it, or if you listen it again and again, you will realize the wisdom from your inner voice, inner wisdom. When it comes from inside you, you feel really, really amazed. Amazing feeling, or you are amazed completely, because it's like when you go there, when you cross the 1,000 kilometer above the earth, the changes of the thoughts will change, because it's the environment who force us to think about based on the environment. We are influenced by the environment, atmosphere, right? So more you go up and the higher dimension, your thoughts will be more pure, more relaxed, calm, peaceful, loveful, like that. Bhuvar is also called a Pitralok, that is the abode of the departed ancestors. In ancient times, departed souls would reside in the room, enjoying the fruit of their merits and waiting for the reincarnation on the earth plane. However, at current time, souls do not possess the energy even to go to the Pitralok. So, what is being mentioned here in an ancient time? The soul who leave the body on the planet Earth go to the Pitralok and wait over there to get the right time and take the reincarnated on the planet Earth. But nowadays, in the current time, when soul leave the body, they even sometimes the soul don't have enough energy to go to the even Pitralok. The sacred rituals called Shraddh are carried out after the death of a person, in which offerings are made to the departed souls residing in Pitralok. Unfortunately, currently the departed souls are not able to go to the Pitralok. Instead, they keep wandering around the Earth's atmosphere. Well, there you go. We are on the heaven, another dimension, which is called heaven. So everybody say Swargloka and heaven, and everybody knows about heaven, the area where everybody think that after they die they go to there. So let's go through what you see in the heaven. This is the third loka and also called heaven. Swargloka is located above Bhuvar lok. Now, who can go to the Swarglok? The souls who have performed good deeds and led pious lives on earth can go to the Swargloka after death and are eligible to enjoy the fruit of their good karma in the heavenly realm. The Lord Dharmaraj, that is Lord Yam, god of death and justice, who keeps an account of the virtuous and sinful deeds of the soul, determines the time for a soul to spend in the heaven or hell. The soul resides in the Swargloka, possesses a body of the three elements, such as the divine body, gives sufficient happiness to the human soul, whereas the mortal world, whereas the mortal world, one has to one has a heavy body made out of the gross elements. The Swagloka is an enchanting place with the Devis, goddess, Devtas, gods leading an opulent, materialistic life full of enjoyment and comforts, music, dance, and is often found partaking of sombras, a heavenly elixir. When the accrued good karma come to the end, acquired actually, the, but that means the accumulated good karmas comes to the end, the power of the deities, gods and goddesses depletes, and they are directed to the leave Swargloka or reside in the Bhuloka, that is earth. Highly knowledgeable and the spiritually advanced souls will never desire for the temporary happiness of that is of heaven, and they would rather focus upon the self liberation. Such yogi souls will move to the higher dimensions above Swargloka, such as Janlok, Taplok, Mahalok, Brahmapuri, Vishnupuri, Shivpuri, or Paramdham. Such great souls will attain the liberation in the Paramdham, which is also incorporeal abode of the Lord Shiva, who is the creator of this solar system. Thus, pious souls, due to their spiritual efforts, merge into the Parabrahma Parameshwar, that is the incorporeal, formless form of the Supreme Soul Shiva. When the soul emerges into the Parabrahma or Supreme Soul of incorporeal Shiva and loses its identity, then it is called the attainment of moksha or mukti, salvation or liberation. A year on the earth is equivalent to a day in a Swargaloka. Swargaloka is also known as the plane of paradise. On earth, there is an illusion, that is Maya, in gross form, whereas in the Swargaloka, the illusion or the welling power of the nature is present in the subtle form. Illusion is a physical world is displayed through physical elements, and the illusion in the subtle world is displayed through the subtle elements like air, fire, ether. So that means whatever you see in the physical world in the fifth element, you can say that that is also there in the heaven in three elements. It is interesting to know that the beauty, the uh, the grandiose and happiness found in the Swargloka is not eternal, but in fact temporary in nature. The presence of the Maya ignorance, avidya, illusory power exists from earth till Brahmapuri. One can say that there is no difference between the Swargloka and Bhuloka except the type of body, that is, deities of the Swargloka possess the subtle body of three elements and the human beings have a physical body of the five elements. We can also find the presence of the main vices such as the lust, anger, greed, attachment, and envy in the deities as well. So many people think that their target is after death to reach to the heaven. But the thing is that if you are the one who are reading the scriptures, Bible, Quran, whatever religion you belong to, if you read it, the Indian scriptures, everywhere it is mentioned that the vices like lust, greed, anger, attachment, envy, pride, these are not good. These are the one for because of that you suffer from sorrow, and of course it gives you happiness but temporary. So if you want to attain the same thing, then earth is also okay. So that means the heaven is not the should not be the destination for those who are, who wants to get out of the cycle of the life and death. The king of the Swargloka called Indra also has a desire to get the position of Brahma, that is to become a lord of Brahmapuri. Now Indra, what he has, he wants to rule to Brahmapuri. It is the only in the Bhuloka earth where a soul can get the spiritual knowledge to attain the self realization and godly realization and thereby attain salvation. Even deity Indra had to come down to earth for getting the knowledge of the soul from the Prajapati in his ashram. So there is a very good series um, where it is shown that it's called Upanishad Ganga, where it shows that the Indra has to come down to the earth and go to the king Prajapati, Janak, I guess, to get the wisdom, knowledge. Earth is a karma bhumi, and in other words, it is a light of the actions where we can put our efforts to get the supreme knowledge by discharging our rightful duty. Deities cannot obtain divine knowledge of soul and supreme soul in Swarglok. Swarglok is basically nothing more than a place of luxury and enticing, splendorous, a room where the soul gets fulfill its intrinsic inner desires on account of good karmas. There, there exists a time difference between the Swarglok heaven and earth as per the Hindu astronomy. Based on the Puranas and scriptures, one day, 24 hours of the deities in a heaven is one solar year, 360 days of human. 100 years of the deities in Swargloka is about 36,500 solar years on the earth. By this calculation, one can understand that the soul has for example only 100 years of happiness in the heavenly room. But in return, a soul is subjected to countless number of birth and deaths of the karmic cycle. On earth, a soul's virtuous deed on the earth result elevation of the soul to heaven for a temporary period of time, after which the soul has to come back again either to human life form or to any of the 8.4 million life forms of the various species as per its karma. Abominable sinful actions on the earth plane leads to the downfall of the soul into the 55 crores, that is 550 million hells, known as nether world, Naraklo. The spirituality, the spiritually knowledgeable souls do not fall prey or illusory joys that are found in three worlds of the Bhuloka, Bhuvurloka, and Swargloka. The wise soul, having full knowledge about soul science, are very well aware that the life is on in our solar system is just a blink of in a causal in a sorry and causal ocean of the supreme god. For example, as per the Hindu time cycle, on one day of Brahma, a kalpa pralay takes place in which the three worlds like a Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, and Swarglok get destroyed. When one cycle of the four yugas known as Chaturyug finishes on the earth, a partial dissolution, that is Ardha Pralay, occurs on the earth. In this manner, completion of 71 cycles of the Chaturyuga. When you say Chaturyuga, it's like four ages, like Golden Age, Silver Age, Golden Age, uh, Golden Age, Diamond Age, Silver Age, and Iron Age is known as Manvantar. So these are the words taken from the scriptures. So that's why it's in Hindi. When 14 Manvantaras, these are the 14 cycle, 14 such ages, like four ages. When it finishes, it's like one Manvantar. When there are 14 times this four cycles go, that is uh, Golden Age, Silver Age, Diamond Age, Iron Age, right? So that is called the 14 Manvantaras. A Kalpa Pralay occurs when all the three layers of the creation, like the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swargloka, gets destroyed. So, in one day of Brahma, all three levels of the creation, such as Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swargloka, get destroyed. Therefore, we can understand that the time period of the divine room of the heaven is also finite in nature. As per the various stories in the Hindu Puranas, Lord Indra, the mighty king of the gods and rules on the Swargloka like heaven, was cursed on a quite few occasions for his misdeeds and unrighteous actions. In order to get the Brahma Gyan, that is knowledge of Brahma, knowledge of Brahm, soul, energy, the science of energy. It's not the energy what you are thinking, it's the science of creation. The creator, what is in the creator mind, who created the energy, the soul, which is a supreme incorporeal radiant form of God. The soul residing in heaven have to come down to the bhulok, that is earth, for for attaining the spiritual knowledge and enlightenment. This is because though heaven is in the higher subtle room and the deities live there in the best of comforts and happiness, there is no spiritual knowledge in this room. The souls from the heaven reborn on the mortal world to obtain the knowledge of the Brahma from the self-realized sages called the rishis, munis, and yogis on the bhuloka, and that is on earth, and practice beings in the state of the total union with the Almighty whilst being alive in the physical body. In short, to attain the God realized state of the supreme consciousness, to attain moksha, salvation, while leaving all worldly desire and attachments, being absorbed in the bliss of the merging one's consciousness in a supreme soul, Param Brahma Parmeshwar. A soul has to take a human body in this physical world of the earth plane. Such is the powerful privilege and value of a human birth, praised by the great sages in the various scriptures as human soul greater than a divine soul of heaven. Adi Shankaracharya, you might have heard about a great sage, great saint Adi Shankaracharya, one of the greatest saints philosophers of India, who is considered as an avatar of Lord Vishnu, places the knowledge of the self and of the Brahma higher than attaining a moksha. According to the Vedas and Upanishads, according to the Indian scriptures, it is only the foolish soul who aspire to go to the heaven. Okay, so true happiness and supreme peace are in the supreme abode. So, what is mentioned over here that only the souls who are thinking to go to the heaven are really foolish, and that is okay if they don't have knowledge, but this knowledge, this wisdom gives you eyes to see that this what is beyond the heaven. Is that something like a last destination for you? It can be for some people, but maybe are you the one whose destiny is heaven, or you belong to furthermore, or you belong to the higher dimension, you belong to Golok, Krishna consciousness, you belong to Saket Lok, which is above the Brahmapuri, or you belong to the abode, the highest abode, the Paramdham, or you belong to the highest abode of the galaxy. So it's a question to be asked to yourself while understanding and gaining this knowledge. Thank you for listening to me. We have covered two dimensions over there. Now we will continue the further dimensions in our next session. Thank you for listening to me. Love and light and peace.